Tom Ludlow, our good friend and longtime Toastmaster, is going to give a speech that's going to last about 8 to 10 minutes, and it's a true story from his past. It's all about the challenges of Valentine's Day. Please welcome Tom Ludlow.
So Valentine's Day, I wouldn't consider myself an expert. I mean, I've had friends who always had elaborate plans and they went way out of their way to make sure their husband or wife really felt appreciated. And I guess either I was lazy or confident, but I didn't necessarily feel that I needed to go that extra mile. And so it wasn't something that was weighing heavy on my brain. Well, around 1985, I was working in New York City, living in New Jersey. And my now ex-wife, but my wife and I lived down the street from a couple who had moved in perhaps a year after we did. So we'd both been there a year, 2 or 3 years. And they became friends. They were younger like we were and interested in a lot of the same things. Both of them commuted to New York to work, which my wife and I did. And so we had sort of a similar life going on. I mean, we were up early, we were on the bus or the train back to New York. We were coming home late. We shared a very similar lifestyle. And so we got to know each other over a period of time. And as Valentine's Day approached in 1985, right about this time of the year, of course, my friend Jack said to me, "Hey, what would you guys think about going skiing?" And I was like, "I don't know." He said, "Well, we'll like take Friday off or something." And I think Valentine's Day was Saturday, but I don't remember exactly. He said, we'll take Friday off and we'll like fly up to Stowe, Vermont and ski for 2 or 3 days and come back. It should be fun, and we'll have a good time. Nice break, get out of town, seems to feel good. So we agreed to it. And we said, sure, that could be interesting because all 4 of us skied. We thought it'd be a fun and interesting time. I had never been to Stowe. I'd never skied in Vermont. I'd always skied out here, out in Colorado. So that was my experience in California. So I didn't know what to look forward to, but it wasn't a big deal. So as we rode home on the bus, I think a day before we were supposed to leave, Jack says to me, "So what are you going to do for your wife for Valentine's Day?" And I was like, well, I thought I'd get her a card. I said, trying to save face a little bit to say, that's probably a good idea anyway. So maybe the reminder was a good thing. He said, well, Valentine's Day is Saturday. We're going to be in Stowe, He said, boy, my wife has been looking at a pair of ruby earrings that she really wants. Now, stop the story for just a second and let me tell you the backstory on these two. They were both younger than me anyway. They were both working in sales in New York City. They were both making a lot of money. However, my wife and I weren't doing so badly, but these guys spent the money all the time on you name it, they were spending it. I mean, she always drove this big 700 series BMW. He drove all sorts of different things. I remember him telling me one time, "Oh, I can only wear a suit once and I have to send it to the laundry." And spending a little time with him, I realized that's because when he took it off, he threw it in the corner of the room. You couldn't wear it again because it looked like, he'd been sleeping in it. So anyway, there was a little difference in our lifestyles. We were probably more conservative. They were much more crazy spending types. So I'm listening to him. He's going to buy his wife ruby earrings for Valentine's Day, and he's going to give them to her while the 4 of us are together in Stowe on a ski vacation. Now, I don't see a way that's going to come out real good for me if I'm not careful. On the other hand, I know my wife. She's not a whack job. She doesn't expect anything like this. Frankly, if I went out and bought something really fancy, she'd be like, "You should have talked to me about this. We should have had a discussion before you go spend $1,000 or something." So anyway, the days are clicking off. We're leaving in a day, actually 1 day later. So we get back to where we lived in New Jersey, in Chatham, New Jersey. And he went to his car and I went to mine. And I decided, listen, I better do something here. So I headed to Bloomingdale's, which was a couple of miles away in a big mall. And I went into Bloomingdale's like, I don't know what I ought to do here, but I better do something. And in Bloomingdale's, there was this big Godiva chocolate display. beautiful boxes, gold boxes, cool looking red ribbon, all this other stuff. Yeah, it was pretty swanky, looked pretty good. I mean, if you're going to give somebody something, this was a cool thing to give them, right? That would be good. But then I noticed that if you buy the $20 box of chocolates for another $10, you can buy these zirconium, look just like real diamonds, earrings. $10, zirconium earrings, wrapped in another cool little box with a ribbon. Sweet. $10. How can I go wrong? First of all, she can't be mad at me because I didn't spend $1,000 on something we didn't talk about. Second of all, I mean, it's fun. $10, good idea, right? How can I go wrong? And I'm there. $30 later, I'm feeling like, whew, I got this. On the way out of the place, I buy a card, $3, whatever. Now I'm ready. This is going to be good. I got it covered. Whew. And she'll get a real chuckle out of the fact that she's got these diamond earrings that aren't diamonds, but Jill, Jack's wife, is going to have these, who knows what they're going to be. We'll see. So everything, let's fast forward. Everything's fine. Everybody packs, go to the airport, get on the plane, get off the plane, get in the rental car, zoom to Stowe, check into the hotel. We get there really late, like on Thursday night. We're exhausted. Everybody crashes. Friday, we get up, we ski a little bit or whatever. Saturday's Valentine's Day. It's really cold in Stowe, by the way. I mean, it's going to be really cold here this weekend, but generally we don't have that insane below zero kind of weather for long stretches of time. In Stowe they do, and that makes skiing a very different experience. First of all, you're freezing cold for sure. And second of all, the snow is hard as a rock because of it. Sun hit it and it melted it all. It is now frozen and it is hard as a rock. So Friday, I'm not a bad skier, but Friday was a tough day. So Saturday rolls around and I say to myself, what's the cool thing to do here? We both kind of wake up, everybody, you can kind of hear them moving around over in their room. So I think, aha. So I take the card and the box of chocolates and the cool little gold box, and I put them all on the kitchen table with her name on it. Then I think, one of the clear, you know? So I sneak back in the room and I take a shower or do whatever. We're all getting up, we're all getting ready. Everybody finally shows up in the kitchen. And then we discover the reality. My dear friend Jack didn't do anything. No card, no earrings, nothing. Well, I wasn't terribly upset, and my wife wasn't terribly upset, but you can guess who might have been. Jack's wife was not a happy camper that morning. Her eyes got really big. She looked at this. I said, oh, I just got a box of chocolates and everything. So my wife says, well, I'm going to open this. And she opens not the box of chocolates, of course, but this little box with the fake diamonds in it. Holy cow, look at these. Well, if the situation was bad when it started, and there was full acknowledgement that Jack had done nothing, the situation was now considerably worse. Somebody was not happy with somebody else. And I wasn't in that picture, and it was my wife, but the two of them, it wasn't a good place to be. Well, I can't remember the details of what happened next. I think we all decided that rather than try to cook, since we hadn't figured out much of anything in the condo, we just go out and have some breakfast someplace, and we did. And in the middle of the breakfast, Jack's wife, Jill, says, I think I'm going to do a little shopping after breakfast. It was freezing cold, man. I mean, I was 100% ready to not go on the mountain. It was too cold. So that was fine with me. My wife was fine with that. It was cool. So we were like, yeah, sure, that'll be fun. So, I mean, 100 yards from where we had breakfast was a ski shop. Beautiful. I mean, I don't know if you've ever been to a big ski resort where they have these things. They have beautiful, fantastic Willy Bogner bodies, just suits stuff. I mean, you know, it's only money, right? They got it. They got any of that stuff. You want your socks to match your gloves, to match your hat, to match your underwear. No problem. They got it. So anyway, into the store go Jack and Jill. And my wife and I are like, yeah, well, and I'm thinking I'm going to get some kind of face mask or something because I don't want to freeze to death there. I don't want to wake up and my nose is frozen and then I got, some danger. So we're puttering around looking at gloves and, lip balm and this jazz. These two are going through like, she's really mad at him. So she's going to spend a lot of money just to show him. Well, he's mad because she's mad. So he's going to spend a lot of money just to show her. Well, I don't know. I think when the smoke cleared, both of them were plus $1,000. They were over $1,000 a piece. The American Express card. There they were. I forget if I bought any lip stuff or not. Maybe not. I might not have spent anything. I don't remember. But she bought this beautiful purple ski suit and it had a goofy looking hooded hat that I never would have bought in a million years and it cost a fortune. She had gloves that matched. I mean, it was sweet looking. I mean, it was, it was a cool thing to have. I forgot what he bought. I think he bought a new pair of skis, frankly. But anyway, so the smoke clears and we all go back to the condo and kind of figure out what we're going to do for the day. And things have warmed up by about noon. So we decided to go out and ski, and we skied for the next couple of days. No one was murdered in the middle of the night. There were no loud screams or anything. It all went relatively quietly. But the tension was enormous. I mean, the tension was just enormous. She was so mad. And he was mad at me, but that's not fair. He set me up. I was an innocent soul in this deal. And he tells me he's going to bet. So anyway. So everybody lived happily ever after. They stayed married. We stayed married. Nobody froze to death on the mountain. It's all good. So what's the lesson here? Don't let somebody else tell you what you ought to do. That's my number one lesson. It's easy to get caught in some of these kinds of things, of what you should do, what you ought to do, whatever. You ought to do what you do. Yes, you should be paying attention to your significant other, but it should be up to you. You two should know each other better than anybody else does and do the appropriate thing. Number two suggestion, don't go on vacation with another couple. It never, it seems like a good idea. Especially if you're sharing a condo. I'm not so sure it's going to work the way you thought it would. Stuff happens unless you're, I don't know. Anyway, those are the only two lessons I can glean out of this, except that if you ever see the deal with the Godiva chocolates in the earrings, buy it, because for $10, it rocks. And these things look, they look like pretty close to a carat. Now, if I have any moment of guilt, I suppose one of us, because I know my wife knew when she opened the box, these aren't real diamonds. Yeah. I mean, she knew me. She knew they weren't real diamonds. And I knew they weren't real diamonds. And maybe we should have said, hey guys, these aren't real diamonds. But in the heat of the moment, when these two were so intensely mad at each other, I was afraid to say anything. So I kind of ducked and got out of the line of fire, and so did my wife. So to this day, I have no idea if they ever figured it out. And I don't know if it matters, but that's my Valentine's Day story. True story, except for the names. They had weird names, too hard to say.